Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, Shadir.
Okay. So yeah, so let us start. So yesterday we had seen about for loop and while loop, right? And the last thing which we had seen was nested loop. So just to give you a glimpse of what we were seeing yesterday is that so we got introduced to this loops in Python programming language, where like instead of like say let's do doing something which is uh like quite repetitive in nature, instead of like writing multiple times the same exact function or the same exact thing which you are supposed to do, you can actually, instead of writing multiple times to access the names inside the names list using index, what you can do is you can just use loops. In this case, we were using for loop and with the range function to print the name of the entire names present inside the names list, right? And just a minute. Yeah. And so similarly, we had seen that we can actually also use for loop basically using two types. One being, just a minute. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So two types basically, the first one being that we can use the range function along with the length function, which introduces the dynamic, like you don't need to like update the stopping stopping number here in the range function, right? You can just give 0 until the number where you need to go until like 0 to 100, it will go until 99, and then you just print the names inside the list, right? And similarly, you can say for name in names list, and you can like print it here. You don't need to use any function or anything as opposed to while we were using your range and length function. You can just directly say for name in names list, right? And then we also saw how to print odd numbers and even numbers using the same exact logic. Just a minute, guys. I'm getting some. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, there are participants joining in. Yeah. So yeah, so this was, and also we got introduced to while loop, so we basically the ideology behind using a while loop is that whenever you are you have to perform iterative manner function or anything in programming language with respect to some condition, instead of using for loop, you can use while loop. So while loop, until and unless this condition is satisfied, it will always enter the loop, execute whatever has been written inside the code loop block, right? And then whenever this condition is returns false, that is the condition is not satisfied, it will come out of the loop. When I say come out of the loop, it basically means that it will basically print. Okay, just a minute. Yeah. So so see, it will like until and unless the condition is satisfied here, for example, count equal to 10, while count is more than 0, that is greater than 0, it will like perform this operation. That is it always performs this operation. And when this condition is dissatisfied, that is basically it has been set as false, then it prints this, I'm out of the loop, right? And then we also saw how to like write even numbers and odd numbers, and also print star patterns using loops, right? So any doubts, guys, until for the last session? And also we got introduced to nested loops. So nested loop basically meaning that you basically have like loop inside a loop. Like for example, here, if I have the names list here, just a minute. Yeah, I have the names list here. Suppose if I want to print each and every character inside the string, that is a string which we have here, then instead of like saying for name in names list and then like saying print name, like I can also write like like after first loop, I can also say multiple times this, but then that wouldn't be dynamic in nature, and also you can't automate it, right? Because you have to write index for each and every string. So that is why we use nested loops for name in names list, for character in name. Then if you print it, then you will easily get that if for each character inside each of the names present inside that names list. Any doubts until now? Any doubts, guys, until now? Okay. So yeah, so let's move forward. Okay. Yeah, so I'm expecting some more people as well, but no worries. We can't wait more than this. Yeah. So yeah. So now today in this session, we will learn about three important keywords. Okay, we will learn about three important keywords. The first keyword is continue. Okay. The second keyword is break. Let's take break first. Not exam, not the literal meaning, but the keyword break. Okay, and then pass. Okay. So let's understand what do you mean by break statement. Okay. So suppose uh suppose you are, let's say that I have this names list again. Okay, I have the exact names list here. Okay, now my idea is I am basically searching whether, okay, I have to write the code to search whether Jishan is present inside class or not. Okay, I want to search whether like Jishan is present inside class or not. And so whenever so suppose like let's take a real life example. Okay, here. So yeah. Yeah. So let's take a very real life example. Okay, now you are an investigator. Okay, you found that someone in the class and the exam is going on. Now you found that you have been you are the principal of the school, and you have been said that someone in the class is doing cheating while in exam. Okay, so now you don't know the student personally, you just know his name. Okay, now what will you do when you go inside the class? You will search for, let's say, Jishan has cheated. Okay, you will go inside the class and ask, like basically search who is Jishan, right? Now once you search Jishan, once you found him, then will you also check for other students? Since you have already found the one who has been cheating, will you go on searching for other students? No, right? Because you already found what exactly, you won't like basically you won't search for any other student. So similarly here, let's say I want to find Jishan, right? Once you have found Jishan, will you go through the entire names of the other students? Since you already have found Jishan, you won't go to the other students, right? So here the idea, write a program to search student Zishan in names list. Okay. So what I will write for name in names list, if name equal to Zishan, print Zishan found, right? Oops. Right. And then you can also like maybe print. So you can also here print the current student. Okay. Right. So now what's happening here is that I have written a code where I'm trying to search for Jishan. Now for the first iteration, the current student is Siraj. Is it equal? Is the name is equal to Jishan? No. That's why it has gone for the next loop. Shadir, no. Fareen, no. Jishan, yeah, we got Jishan. That is why it has this code has basically gone inside and said that Jishan is found. Right? Jishan found has been printed. It has not been printed for other students, right? But still, even after finding Jishan, which is basically my actual motive or my aim was to find Jishan, is it really necessary to to basically search for the rest of the students? No, right? It's not necessary. So that is why once I find or once I basically achieve my objective or achieve the motivation behind behind my logic for which I have written the program, instead of like again doing some search or maybe basically running the program for other iterations, I will just use the statement break statement. Now what will break statement do is that since you have achieved the motive for which you have basically written this program, it will come out of the loop. It will basically come out of the loop. See, now since I have written break, the literal meaning basically break the loop. Okay. Here, when I said if name equal to Jishan, print Jishan found and then break. So whenever I find Jishan, it will basically come out of the loop and it will omit the searching for other students. That will lead to basically saving your runtime complexity and also your space complexity. So basically, it will make sure that the program is only run until your objective is completed. Otherwise, this is okay, still fine. But what if you had thousands of students? It will go on and on searching, right? So that is why the reason is because this break statement is being used. So whenever your objective is finished, you will directly come out of the loop and you won't search for other students. Does this make sense? Any doubts? Yeah, so this is nothing but the break statement. What exactly? So if I remove this break statement, right, what will happen? It will search for all the students. Even if Jishan is found here, it will search for all of the students. But since I have introduced this break statement, it basically will only once Jishan is found, it will automatically come out of the loop, that is break the loop, and it will skip checking for all the other remaining students.
Sir,
Yes.
it will the break keyword will come under if or for.
It will come under, I mean, it can come anywhere, but ideally it comes under a certain, because you only break the loop under certain condition, right? So it generally comes under if condition. Yeah, so Faizan bhai, since you are printing it, okay, you have to use double inverted commas both the sides. You have missed double inverted commas as starting of the print function. So whenever you get invalid syntax, it is more or less here you have missed this double inverted commas. So that's the only reason why your program is giving error. Any issue, any doubts, guys? I hope everybody understood this. So this is the break statement, the logic of break statement. Let me know, guys, once this is done. Any doubts, guys? Okay, shall we move forward? Okay. So similarly, you have something called as continue function. Okay. Now, what does continue function give you? Okay. So let's suppose, I mean, you giving the same condition that, okay, like Jishan is basically cheating on the exam, but the principal uh, basically is not sure, okay, is not sure whether other students are also like cheating or not. So she still goes on and inspects the other students as well. Okay. So what happens here, that let's say that after like she comes to know that like let's say Jishan and let's say Shadir, why to call out other name, let's say Jishan and Shadir, both of these guys, okay, are the ones who are cheating it. Okay, so what you typically have to do, you have to basically find that both of the students who are cheating inside the class, right? So what I will do, I will write a for loop for name in names list, right? I will print, I can just print the current student. Okay. Right. And after printing, so what I will say, if name equal to Zishan, right? Or name equal to Shadir, right? Print filter found. And let's say break. I do the exact same thing. So here, what's happening here is that although here I'm able to find Shadir, right? I'm able to find Shadir, but I'm not able to find Jishan. Like Jishan, I just found Shadir and it breaks the loop. Why? Obviously, because if you print the names list, Shadir is coming first. That is why you caught him, but you didn't check for the other students, including Jishan, who actually should be also found, right? So instead of this, what you will do, you will use continue. Okay, what you will do is you will use continue. So when you say continue, what it will do, it will go basically say Siraj, Shadir, cheater found, and then it will again go on. It won't break the loop here. Okay, it won't break the loop, but it will go on for the other students as well, the current student. Okay, So like, let's say Zishan, Zishan has also been found here as cheater found, and rest of the students are like wherever there is like this matching no condition, the rest of the students basically is like they have not been like named as cheaters. Yes, Parin.
So even if we don't type continue, still it will go for the entire loop, right?
Yeah, it will go for the entire loop. That definitely makes sense. Even if you, this is like just to make you guys understand what exactly continue keyword does. Okay, but what basically what are the difference between break and continue? Okay, so continue is basically a keyword where, or let's say basically a logic where you want to treat something differently. Okay, like suppose like, so here even if you write this, it will still work out, right? But the difference between break and continue is that if you say break, then it will only go until Shadir and break. The basically it whenever you basically have the first condition satisfied, it will come out of the loop, but continue won't break the loop, right? It basically won't break the loop. Now you might ask me, then why exactly are we using then continue itself, right? That would be the question. Because I mean, continue statement is basically like wherever you want to skip. Let's suppose that I want to skip cheaters found, right? I don't want to, let's say, uh, right, I want to say print, uh, let's say name is not a cheater. Okay, so see, now you will see the importance of continue. If I remove this continue statement, then let's say I have something, anything, let's print anything, or let's suppose I have, right? What would happen even though I have like, if name equal to Jishan or name equal to Shadir, these both should be considered as a cheater, right? Ideally, they should be like said as cheater. What I'm saying is that apart from the students, Jishan and Shadir, everyone is not a cheater. But even though I have satisfied this condition, even though like I write like, let's say let's say the exact same thing. Okay, right? You will see that that even though like Siraj is not a cheater, Shadir is coming 2 times. Shadir is not a cheater. Okay, it should be a cheater. Yeah, Shadir is a cheater. Shadir is not a cheater. Jishan is a cheater. Jishan is not a cheater. So it is basically coming up both the times. But if I write continue here, it won't execute the print statement which is inside like it will come up, it will come here, it will check, okay, for this condition the continue statement is basically defined. It will ignore this print statement. Okay, it will basically ignore the entire loop itself. Okay, it will basically ignore the entire loop itself, and it will directly go on for the next name. So that is why here you are not able to like here you are not able to see Shadir is a cheater or Jishan is a cheater, right? It basically is ignoring, like you can just like even write it here as well. So you will see now that Shadir is a cheater, and whatever rest the print statement here, Shadir is not a cheater, you won't see here. But if I omit this, comment it out, you will see Shadir has been said as a cheater, as not a cheater. So what does continue statement do? Continue statement basically ignores all of the statements which you have defined after the for loop. After continue has been defined, it will basically ignore the print statement. So this is the difference between continue and break. So break, what does break do? Break basically directly comes, makes the, breaks the loop. As the name suggests, it directly breaks the loop. It won't search for any other students. But here in this case, when we are using continue, for that specific condition, it will just ignore whatever has been written here. Whatever has been written downside, like in the for loop. Any doubts? Any doubts, guys? Were you able to understand? Did you guys understand the difference between break and continue? This might seem a bit fizzy at the end, I mean at the start, but once you implement it, you will understand. So continue, when you say continue here, right, it will ignore whatever has been written after the continue statement for that one specific iteration wherever the condition has been satisfied, and it will basically rest everything. It will just print it up. For the rest of the names where the condition is not satisfied, it will print name is not a cheater. Now one might argue that if you really, I mean, this is just to understand, I mean, just to basically give you a understanding. Like one might argue that instead of writing continue, what you can do is here is a cheater, or in the else condition, like you in the else condition, you can just say write like something like this. But there are multiple ways of doing the exact same thing. Okay, in programming language, you never know when something will come into use. For example, let's say that for certain condition, you already know you are going to skip the iteration, you are going to skip doing something, then it is always beneficial to use continue here, because if else you can't write multiple if else conditions, right? So that is why continue statement is something which is very useful. Any doubts, guys? Siraj, do you need to see this one, or which one? This one or this one?
Done, Shadir, this one. Already done.
Okay. Any doubts? Were you guys able to understand what is the difference between break and continue?
Done by that.
Okay. So, yeah. So now let's, So now,
Shadir,
yeah.
in my case, it's showing like for all the name, it's written cheater.
Hmm.
Like in my list, whoever is there, it's showing me is a cheater found.
Okay. Can you paste the code on the chat?
Uh,
Yeah, so here for name in names list, you are using a tuple. By the way, there's a difference between using, so here tuple is still fine. Okay. Yeah, this code is working fine, right? FAR or name equal to false.
But only two. There are two outputs. The other names are not reflecting the output.
One of the reason why here is because the print statement is not inside for loop. Again, an indentation error, which this can only be seen after execution of the code. The Python won't complain because according to Python, the code is properly right. Here you have to see that the print statement, the last print statement here, right? It's basically not like it is not inside the for loop. So one tab separated. Now you will see that everything is.
Oh, okay.
Always see this like the print statement. Yeah, Siraj, you were sharing the code, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so in names list, yeah, so what is the names list? Can you also give me the names list which you have? So in your names list might be Samina or Adiba might not be present. So that's why it is printing. Okay, wait. Okay, this is your names list, and this here says that cheater found is a cheater. Yeah, both are same only, right? But I see Adiba is a cheater, Samina is a cheater. So yeah, it is working fine. You just have to say cheater not found. Samina is a cheater, see. Adiba is a cheater. Yeah, it is working. The code is working fine, Siraj. Did you understood where you were doing it wrong? Like just have to say not. Did you got it? Okay. So yeah, so similarly, right, we so similarly the third statement is a very simple one. Even someone who doesn't know programming will also understand. Past statement literally means doing nothing. Okay, so past statement basically literally means says doing nothing. It's just a placeholder. Okay, like if I do the exact same thing, mark down, and if I instead of say pass, we literally won't do anything. It is as good as like having nothing here. Now you might ask, then what is the reason of like then having the pass statement? So pass statement as like if you have passing the ball, if you might have played that game, right? You are just like passing the ball to the next person. Similarly, pass is just a placeholder here. When I say placeholder, so whenever we will be creating in more advanced lecture, whenever we will be creating data types, advanced data types, classes, functions, and everything. We will see functions now. So in that, suppose if you don't have anything, you are just structuring your code. You are just writing code and you don't know what that code will have. So you can, instead of like having nothing, because if I don't have anything, right? My Python will basically tell that this is an indentation error. So if you here, instead of like you don't know what to write the condition, like I don't know what to print. Let's say there are many times where you don't know what your function execution could be, or you don't know, you will write it in the future, but for now you are just like structuring the code. So instead of writing anything, you can just say pass. So pass is a valid identifier where it will automatically, like wherever you don't know and what to write, you can just say, like instead of having an indentation error, you can just say pass and it will basically run your code. This is the simplest of things. Any doubt? Any doubts, guys? So, so see, pass statement. Just a minute, guys. Just a minute. Let me. There's somewhere at the door. Just a minute. Until then, you can just copy this. Statement. Yeah, were you guys able to do this? Yeah, okay. Imran bhai, were you any doubts on this?
No, I just corrected that.
Okay.
आपने भी continue code बताया, that fixes it.
Okay, understood. Yeah, so this yeah, so basically pass, right? Pass is nothing, just it is nothing but a placeholder. It basically does nothing. It pass is just passing it. It doesn't break out of the loop, or it doesn't act like as a continuous statement. It is just a placeholder. Wherever you will get indentation error and you don't know what code to write, you can instead just write say pass, and it will act as a proper syntax. It has basically no significance. It is not at all important. Just like suppose you will understand in future, and when I say in future, in the next 45 minutes, why pass is very important. Okay, I hope any doubts until now, guys? Any doubts? Are you guys done until this point? Any doubts on this break continue statement? So you can, by the way, you can also write continue and all this stuff for using while as well. For example, let's suppose count is equal to 10. Okay, while count is lesser than 0, print, let's say if count equal to 5, then break, right? Or else print count equal. Oops. See, I again did this mistake where I wasn't incrementing the count variable. So count will be equal to count -1. So see, here it only has printed until 6. Although my condition says, like, if I remove this break statement, right? If I remove this break statement, let's now here I don't want to do anything, so I will say pass, right? What it will do, it will like go until 1, until this actual condition is satisfied, right? It will actual condition is basically satisfied. That is why, but then if I, instead of say pass, I say break, that is why once this count function has a count equal to 5 condition has been satisfied, it comes out of the loop. It directly comes out of the loop, and that is why you only print until 6, right? What can somebody tell me what would happen if I say continue here? Can somebody tell me this?
It's gonna print, I guess, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No, yeah, I mean, it will print 6, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. What next?
Okay, yeah, it's gonna go beyond 5 then until greater than 0 until 1.
Yeah, it will go beyond 5. That's right. But will it print 5?
Yeah, it will print 5. Count equal to 5. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Actually, no, it won't print 5. The reason being, since whenever their continue statement occurs, right, it will skip the later part. Whenever the continue statement, the condition for the continue statement has been satisfied, the print statement here inside whatever I have selected won't get executed.
Right. Makes sense.
Okay, sorry. Here I have to say continue. Yeah, I have to increment it. See, here it 9, 8, 7, 6, and then it basically skipped 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now, why did I write this incrementing or decrementing operation at the first line? Because since if I would have written here, right, since after continue, like when I say continue, this the count equal to count minus 1 didn't count, value of count didn't get updated. So it basically then what would happen is a endless,
Infinite loop.
it will go in for an infinite loop. That is why I had to write this at the first line itself. So these are the major differences. If I say pass, everything will work as it is. No, basically nothing is like affected here. Okay. But if I say break, then as the condition has been satisfied, it will just come out of the loop. If I say continue, then only for the condition for which the condition for the count equal to 5 has been satisfied, or that will only get skipped, rest everything will get printed. Any doubts on this? Any doubts, guys?
Can you explain this again? Just
No.
like the format of writing this ones.
Yeah. So see, yeah. So here what I have is a count variable having 10 as a value. I'm saying while count variable is greater than 0, I will in decrement the count variable by -1, count equal to count -1. And then I'm also having a condition here. If the value of count equal to 5, then do either of these operations. Currently, I'm doing pass. Pass basically meaning nothing. It is just a placeholder. It means nothing. And I am print, and then in the end of the while loop, I'm printing the count variable, the current value of the count variable. So you will see that it starts at 9. Obviously, it will start at 9 and it goes until 0. So pass basically has no effect on the while loop. It basically doesn't do anything to the while loop. But when I say break, right? When I say break, it goes for 9, prints 9, prints 8, prints 7, prints 6. But when the count variable has come to 5, and I say break, it basically comes out of the loop. So when I say comes out of the loop, it won't go printing for the other numbers. Other numbers including 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0 as well. Right? So it won't do. But if I say instead of break, I would say continue, right? What it will do, instead of continue, what it will do for just the condition here, right? Like let's say print see, for just for this condition count equal to 5, it skips printing 5 and rest of all of the other numbers have been printed.
Got it. I understood now.
Any doubts, guys? Any doubts?
Got a doubt. Can I just share my screen real quick? Like I'm getting weird answers here.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, try it again.
Oh, just a minute.
Disabled. Yeah, sorry.
Let me just enable multiple.
Yep. Thanks. To share. See.
Yeah, I'm able to see it.
Okay.
Here's some information about
Right. I'm getting 0 on the first one, right? Wherein we had all the counts. So getting a 0.
Yeah, so here again, Imran bhai, that same indentation error is happening with you. So basically the print should be inside the while block. You are printing inside like one tab separated space. It should be one tab separated. Just press tab. Yeah. Can you run it now?
Okay. Okay. This is also the same, I guess.
No, one tab separated.
One tab, one more tab. Yeah. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Any doubts? Can we continue? Okay. So yeah, so I hope you guys got a good understanding of what is the three statements and how these are getting used, right? So now let's do one exercise. Let's do basically one simple program. This you guys have to write it. I won't write it. Okay. So I will, let's say that you have, let's say, Python programming is fun. Okay, let's have a string. Let's say test string is Python programming is fun. Okay, okay, let me make it a little easier. Otherwise, yeah, let's say that we have multiple Python programming languages, say Java, Julia, there is R, there is C, there is C++, there is JavaScript, there is, let's say Ruby, let's say Go. Okay. Now what I want you guys to do, okay, I want you guys to do is, I'm pasting this on the chat. I want to, okay, skip printing Java and JavaScript. Okay, skip printing Java and JavaScript using statements. I want to print all of the programming languages except Java and JavaScript. How will you do it? Can somebody tell me? Fill in the blanks, basically. Yeah, using for loop. Definitely you have to use for loop, but can you write a program for this? I have already pasted the programming languages in on the chat, like you can use that list, and you have to write a program in which you will be printing every other programming language, but you have to skip Java and JavaScript. and the one who can do it using single if condition with one single condition, okay, gets a Cadbury chocolate from my side. Single if condition. Remember, single if condition. Can everybody try writing a code for this on your own? I won't write it. Come on, guys. It's pretty simple. Your output should something look like, it should be like Python, Java, not Java. It should look something like this. This is your output. Come on, guys. It's let me know if you have any doubts, by the way, like, or you can discuss a solution before even implementing it. Remember, programming language, I won't say Python, but in general, programming language is all about understanding or approach first before writing the single line of code. How will you write it?
I pasted one, but it is not a right answer. But
No, that's fine. Trying is important. Getting the right answer is not important. You will eventually get the right answer. Python, Julia, R, C++. So here, just one mistake which you have done. Okay, the only one mistake which you have done here is in the programming languages. Okay, the JavaScript, the J in JavaScript is basically
oh,
so
got it.
just have to use capital J and yeah. Okay, wait. Java and JavaScript. Why did JavaScript come here? Oh, and also. JavaScript. The S also is also capital. So, yeah. So now this is the perfect answer. See, there is no Java, there is no JavaScript. Great, good going for you. Yeah. Nice that you came up with the solution. This is yeah, this definitely is the solution which I was looking for. Okay. And one more solution which I can give you when I said that you can write it in one line is instead of saying I equal to Java or I equal to JavaScript, what you can say that I starts with Java. So you don't have to write or something like. So since like both of the programming languages starts with Java, so what you are saying, you are using the string function which is starts with Java. So if this condition is satisfied, you will continue. That is, you won't print that programming language. It was this simple. Any doubts, guys? Although this solution is the one which I was intending, but yeah. Mhm. So there's also print given the solution. Let us see. Yeah, this is also the same yeah, exact solution which I was intending for.
Sir,
Yeah.
in my solution, the JavaScript is not getting removed.
Is it? Wait, let me see. Yeah, so here, can you tell me what is the error which you have done?
The I.
I
Exact
can tell, yeah, language and language should be.
language. Since you are saying for language in programming languages, it should be language.
Oh.
That is why like you were getting JavaScript, but now right now you are not getting JavaScript. Don't worry, guys, it will come like once you keep on practicing, that's the only time when you will get all of this. But yeah, any doubts on this? This was a solution, by the way. And one more thing, like let's suppose if you don't know that, okay, like, okay, I mean, what could be the case at which the programming language is written, then what you can do, you can also use the dot lower function. I dot lower, basically what does I dot lower give? Like suppose if I have programming languages of 0, I can, if I say dot lower, it will basically get all of the characters in small letters, lower letters basically. So if I say 4, just see, okay, then 6. So now here in JavaScript, actually, if you don't say dot lower, then you will see that J and S are both are in caps, right? So if you say dot lower, they will come in small letters. So I dot lower, then you can print, I mean, have the condition, everything written in lowercase itself. So even if I say S, even then, okay, Java. Okay, this should match. Why is it not? Oh, so sorry, here I missed the lower function, right? Yeah, that is fine. So even this solution also works. So if you are not confident on like whether it is caps or lower, you can convert the entire string into dot lower, and then you can compare it. Any doubts on this, guys? Shall we move ahead? Or should I give you one more problem to solve? You can respond on chat or you can directly tell. Like, should I give one more problem? It's similar problem only. So wherever you find C++, you shouldn't print the rest of the programming languages. How will you do it?
Break function.
Exactly. Very same exact thing. Just have to use break. And here, since it is just C++, you will just say C++. You can also write it in lower. Why? Because I have said I dot lower, which is like programming. Let's name it like language. So language dot lower. So you will see that. Now, can somebody tell me why is it coming programming language go and everything? Can somebody tell me why exactly this is coming up like this? Why is it printing go? It should ideally print Python, Java, Julia, R, C, C++, something like that, right? Why is it printing go? I mean, and wrong answers are allowed, guys. Don't be so demotivated. It's okay, even if you tell wrong answers. So that's all I want, basically. For you guys to try and come up with wrong answers. That's how we will learn. So can somebody tell me why? I mean, you can take a guess, wild guess, why exactly Go is coming. Look at the entire code. Okay, look at the entire code. This is called debugging. This is called like, okay, understanding what's going wrong on the code. We spend around 2 to 3 weeks sometimes on one bug of a code. Why exactly this is happening? So this is an art, and by debugging code, then only you will learn programming language. Can somebody tell me why like print? Okay, you now know that, okay, the programming language is getting printed at the print function. Can you tell me what's going wrong with the print function?
The I.
Yeah, but why Go? Why not any other programming language? The reason is, here when we ran the 125th cell, right? We ran the 126th on the when we ran the 125th cell, the last value for I which it got updated was Go. If you see here, the last value where I got updated was Go. So if you print here I, it will give you Go. That is nothing but the programming language which is at the last of the list. That is why here when I'm saying I, and here I'm not updating I anywhere. Instead, I updated, previously it was I over here instead of language. I replaced I with language here, I with language here, but I didn't replace I with language here. And that is why the constant value of I was Go, hence it printed go. Now, if I replace this I with language here as well, then you will get the proper output. Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this, guys? See, here as inside use break statement, right? Python, Java, Julia, R, C++, and it printed until C. And when it came to C++, it directly came out of the loop. Any doubts, guys?
Shadir bhai, I tried this one. It's not giving me any output. Okay, programming. Let me correct programming. I'm not getting any output only. Also.
Okay, can you share your screen and
Okay. Share. Right. So yeah, this one.
yeah, so here also the same exact error which you have done, right? Here you have said for I in programming languages. So here you're using I as a reference variable. You're not using language, but in the print statement, you are using,
Right. Programming language. So if I do.
but still you won't get it.
Okay.
What would be the reason? Can you
You
tell
have
me?
to define programming language.
No, that's not an issue. It is still your code is completely fine. But you
Yeah,
have
I got the output once and then
no issues.
yeah.
So what you have to do ideally
Hmm.
is the print statement which you have defined, right? It is after continue. So as we know that whatever you define after continue,
Right.
the statement won't get executed. So the print statement is in the if block. You have to get it in the outside the if block, because
Before continue.
yeah, not before continue, like just press shift tab,
Shift tab.
a shift tab, not shift enter.
Okay. You're saying a tab. Okay. Shift tab.
Yeah, now if you print do it once more, like it should be aligning with the if.
Okay.
Yeah, now can you run it? Yeah. So if you
Uh,
could see on the next cell as well, right? Like if I starts with Java and then the next cell exactly, if you go little downside,
this one. Yeah, this was aligned, right?
aligned, right? So the why it is aligned, because it is coming under the for block. It is not inside the if block.
Okay. Okay, I get it. Yes.
So yeah, that was the reason why, even though your code was absolutely right, but still you weren't able to get any output.
Chalega, but yeah. Thank you so much. Let's go back.
Yeah, any other doubts, guys? Or should we move forward? If you have any doubts, please do respond. What is okay. Okay, cool. Let's move forward. So now we will look at one of the most, if not the most, but one of the most important concepts in any programming languages. That is nothing but functions. Okay, so we have dealt with a lot of functions, right? We have basically dealt with a lot of functions until now. Can somebody name what are the different functions we have seen in Python programming languages right from the start of the day one? Can somebody name it? Come on, guys. We have dealt with a lot of functions, right? Like functions like
Print function,
yeah, print is one of the main functions which we have been using a lot. Yeah, what else?
input,
Yeah, input is again one more function. Yes.
Remove.
Remove is a string function. Sorry, list function. Yes.
append,
And
extend,
extend is a list function. Yes. What else?
index,
Index. Yeah, index is a list and tuple function. Yes.
Split.
Sorry.
Split functions.
Function. Yeah, split is again one of the most important function. Yes.
Count.
Count is, yeah, count is again one of them. So we have just a minute because my voice is echoing. I don't know why. Yeah. So we have seen a lot many functions, right? So what are the different aspects or the definition of a function here is that a function basically, like a function basically takes an input and whatever its functionality is, it processes it and it gives you certain output, right? Right. So basically what it does, what does a function help us with? It basically helps you with that you don't have to write the code, like the entire code basically from scratch. Okay, you can basically just use that function and you can you can, instead of writing everything from scratch, for example, you don't know what the code is written behind the print function, but it does the purpose for you. It basically prints the output. You don't know what is written in the length function, right? But it gives you the length of the string or the list or the tuple or whatever collective item you have, right? So similarly, yeah, so similarly, like, yeah, so I will just define a function. Okay, there are so many functions here. So, but the way we define a function in Python, so suppose if you want to write your own function, suppose if you want, so there are so many functions available, but suppose if you want to derive your own function, that is like write your own function, then what you can do, you can just, in Python, there is a possibility of having your own function. For example, let's suppose that that you have to write a print statement multiple times. Okay, let's say this. Okay, now I want to basically whenever I want to copy this entire thing, I want to always like copy this entire code, right? I have to, like, whenever I want to print something like this, I want to copy the entire code, right? Suppose if I want to not do this, but rather I want, now Python programming language is basically like it is basically meant for its simplicity, that you don't have to write multiple lines of code. You can do a lot of things in one line of code itself. So what I will do, instead of like, suppose if I want to print all of these things multiple times, that is, you are very sure that you will print or you will use that logic multiple times. So instead of like writing it multiple times, you can define a function. Now, what is the process? What is the process of basically defining a function? Is using def keyword, def. Def is basically the short form of define. Okay, define my print function and the round brackets. Now, if I just say print, remember the indentation is very important. Here the print is here, so I have to get it inside the function. So this is how I can, this is now entirely inside the function. Okay, now I don't have to print this multiple times. Okay, I have, like, let's say like this, I don't have to print multiple times. Instead of that, I can just call my print function with square bracket, with round brackets, and it will basically print everything for me. I don't have to like write all of these lines. I just have to write my print function and it will basically give you the output. So this is how, now since you know that you will be using this multiple times, I have just put it into a function, define this function with the name my print function with round brackets. And now whenever I will call this function, it will execute whatever is present inside the function. I can even add print coming up from my new function. So see, it will automatically get updated. So you just have to edit it once, basically update it once, and the rest of the call will automatically have the latest information. So instead of like printing multiple times, you can just create one function, and this function, when one function will take care of everything. Any doubts? So this is how you can create your own functions in Python programming languages. And there are so many things which we will discuss. But yeah, this is the most basic one. Can you tell me like if you have any doubts regarding this? Any doubts, guys? Okay. Any doubts? Anyone else? Can you guys like try this out? Try this out on your notebooks. Create a new notebook, as I have created. Name it Python functions, and you can like write your code. You can have whatever you can. You can have multiple print statements as well.
Shalma, could you show again like how to make a new tab over here?
New tab.
Like you made a new file, right? Like, on
Yeah.
the
So
top. You made it.
basically, what you can do is you just have to say double this big plus sign, right?
I'm
And
not
then
getting
you
it.
just
For
have
some
to
reason,
do the new the notebook section. You have to say Python 3.
notebook. Okay, let me check.
Were you able to do it?
Yeah, I'm not finding this particular left section of yours, like for some reason. Can I, yeah, just
can you-
quickly.
Yeah.
Sorry about this.
No, it's okay. Completely okay. Acha, you are using this, right? Okay, no issues.
Your
I'm
collab thing. So
collab.
it's inside that Anaconda thing, is it?
Yeah. So that is basically like we are not relying on collab. We are basically have installed it. You can also install it.
Yeah, I installed it. I'm gonna run that like after the weekend. Like, let me catch up on the last video.
So for this, right, for
Yeah.
generating a new notebook, you can go to File and say New Notebook.
Okay, and then the other notebook I'll still be able to get, or
Yeah, it automatically is stored in your Google Drive.
Drive.
Yeah,
So I'll have to go and click, like I cannot click on the tabs like left and right tabs that way.
You can. There are two different tabs, right? Like there's Untitled 0 is the first where you have written it. Untitled 2 is a new notebook.
Okay. Until 2. So that must be. Okay, I'll have to discontinue this top sharing session. I think then I can see the tabs on the top and I can click the tabs on the top itself, like in a browser, right?
Yeah. I mean, even right now, I'm able to see it.
I'm not seeing like this share thing has covered it up, but
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll stop this and then I can move on the tabs. Chale, thank you.
Okay. So, yeah. So, any doubts on this? So I'm not able to. I haven't shared the screen. Yeah. Yeah. Any doubts on this? Okay. So I hope everybody understood what is the what basic, and you can call function multiple times in one single code as well. Okay, I can call multiple times the same function, and you will see that the function, by calling multiple times the same function, the output has also been coming multiple times. Right. So now, like suppose if you want, let's say if you want to, you can also give parameters to function. When I say parameters, let's say I want to add two numbers. Okay. And I want to add the numbers by taking the input from the user. Number 1 equal to input, enter number, enter, let's say first number. And say number 2 equal to input, enter second number, right? And I have to just print number 1 plus number 2. Right, I will add say 10 with 10. I will get. Now, can somebody tell me why? What is the reason why am I getting this instead of getting 20? Exactly. Siraj is right. You have to convert. You can do it here itself. Int of input. Why? The reason here is because if you see the type of number 1, if you print the type of number 1 and also number 2 as well, right? Both belong to the type string. So this number 1 and number 2 variable are basically considered as string by Python. That is why it is adding 101 and 10 as a string, adding like first name and last name. So in order to convert this string into an integer, I will just call int of input. That is, I'm directly converting the integer, the string which is coming from this function to integer. Okay, now if I say 10 and 10, you will see that both of the data type has been converted to integer, and also the number 1 and number 2 basically gives the output as 20, right? Now, let's keep this as int only, input only, okay. Now, instead of like I want to like add multiple numbers, right? So what I can do instead of like basically having this multiple times, okay, I can basically define a function, define add two numbers, and inside these two numbers, okay, what I can do, first there are two ways of doing this, okay. Since I will be taking input from the user itself, I will be directly taking input inside the function. Okay, I don't need this here. I will say int. Okay. Now I don't have to like basically copy paste this multiple times. I can just say add two numbers. It will automatically run this script, run this lines of code for me. Okay. Enter first number, I will say 10, 10, and see it is automatically printing 20. I can again say add two numbers, and it will again ask me for any numbers, and it will give me the answer. Any doubts on this? Any doubts, guys? Can you guys try this out? Okay. Now this was the first method, right? Now the second method here is that instead of adding two numbers, okay, like after taking input, let's say you just give the function the numbers itself, number 1 and number 2. This is how you provide the function with some parameters. These are called as parameters or arguments for the function. And you just have to, let's say, return. This return is a keyword for returning something from the function. Like for example, I am taking this, you can consider it as an input to the function, Like for example, in the print function, you give input, whatever it needs to be printed, and the output, it basically returns you whatever it needs to be printed, right? For example, in the length function, you provide the list as an input, and in the return, it will basically give you the number of elements present inside that list. I will just say number 2, right? Now, if you say add 2 numbers and you give directly the numbers here, 5, 6, it will give you directly the answer. Okay. And but remember, there is here we are not returning anything. This is a void function. That is, I will explain the difference. For example, here if I say add 2 numbers, okay, let's say 10 and 10, okay, and I will assign value, the return value into result as a variable. Okay. Now, if I print result, you will get whatever this function has returned. That is, it has returned 20. Okay. But if I run this function and assign it a value, let's say result equal to this. Okay, I will enter 10. It will, although it will return 20, it is basically it is returning nothing, but it is printing 20. But if I print result, it will come as none. See, it is basically printing nothing. What is none? None basically means nothing. So here you are not returning anything. In this function, this is called a void function, in which you are not returning anything, and also in here you are not taking anything as input. Whatever input you are taking directly in the function itself. But in this function, okay, see, in this function, what you are doing is, here you are also taking the input, the arguments as input, and also returning some value, returning the addition of both of these values. That is why if you say result, then you will get, like if I say 1, then you will get, the result will get updated by 120. Any doubts? This is one of the major.
What will happen if we are not using a return function in this one? Just we will write two numbers and number 2.
Wait. Can you repeat your question? The question totally echoed a lot.
My question is, if you are using this, if you are not using the return, what will be the changes?
So if you are not returning anything, okay, let's say if you are just, let's say printing it, okay, let's say here itself, I'm just printing it, okay. Although you will get some result, which is just printing the result, okay. But if you now try to print the result, the variable for which you are storing the result of this function, you will get none. Why you will get none? Because you are not returning anything from this function. You are just calculating it and printing the output. Okay. But if you want to use this function for returning something, now if you will see the change, if I will do the exact same thing here, okay, you will see that it doesn't print anything. Why? Because I am not printing anything here. It is just storing the value in result. Now, but if I print the result, see, this is, let's do one thing. Okay, this is the before result. Before it was just printing. Okay, I can also add this as well, just for clarity. Okay. Here you are not returning, you are just printing it. Okay, see, it is. But if you add return here, okay, you are adding, now you are not printing it, but you are adding the return. So here, as you could see, it is not printing this value here. Once the this thing is result variable is getting assigned by the value, but if you print the result value, it won't come none. It will come 120. It will basically get you the result for which the addition has been done. This is the difference between adding return. This is a void function. Void function meaning function without having any return value. It is just mere processing. But this is a function which is not a void function, which basically has some return value associated with it. That is, whenever you give this function some value, number 1 and number 2 or whatever, it will give you some result. It will basically return you some result that you can use later. So getting the output in the console, printed in the output in the console is a different thing. And getting the result back from a function is a different thing, because in this case, I know that the answer is 120, but what if here I want to do some operation based on the result? Let's say I want to minus 100. Then, sorry, here if I do again this, see, it will give me an error. Why? Because unsupported operand type, none type, and int cannot, because since the result is none, you can't do it. But in this case, if I do this result minus 100, you will get the output. Why? Because since the result variable has some value associated with it, which has come from the function, which has a return statement here. That is, which is coming from a function which gives back some output. Understood? Do ask me doubts, guys. If you still, I can repeat this as many times as you want, but this is very important. Any doubts?
So are we saying that this result thing is, pretty much being used as a variable now, like we use names and a lot of other things we use?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It is definitely being used as a variable, and
It's not a statement.
yeah, and like you can now like use the output of this add to number function in the result variable, and you can do anything. You
Okay.
can perform any mathematical other operation or do whatever you want.
Check.
But in this case, you are just printing the summation. You are just printing the output, but you are not returning anything. And since you are not returning anything, you can't use anything here. So whenever you are expecting some output from a function, you always have to use the return statement. So return statement basically says to Python that after doing this operation, return this output to some other variable, or whatever variable is getting assigned here. Any doubts? So you can try this out and then try the other one as well.
Shadir, I'm getting some different answer.
Yeah, share the screen. Yeah, Siraj, are you sharing the screen? Acha, okay, I'm so sorry, you didn't see it. Yeah, so, okay. So now, no. So see, you are printing the function itself. Okay, you should print the result, not the add to number. You should print result. You are printing the function itself. So result is the variable. Yeah, result is the variable where you are storing the return, the output from the function, right? Yeah, double. Yeah, got it. Any doubts, guys? Wait, let me reshare my screen. Okay, where did the screen go? Any doubts on this? So you can have as many numbers as you want. Like I can like update the add 3 numbers, or I can just plainly generic say add numbers. Okay, add numbers, or let's say I can say add 3 numbers, and number 1, number 2, number 3. And I can say I can also get a like result variable here itself saying number 1. See the number 1 parameter, number 2 parameter, number 3 parameter, right? And I can return the result here, right? Now when I say add 3 numbers, if I directly call it, and by the way, if you don't give numbers, this will complain here saying that missing 3 required positional arguments. Number 1, number 2, number. That is, it complains that you are not giving numbers. Suppose if I give only 1 number, it will say 2 required positional arguments are missing. If I give 2 numbers, it will say missing 1 required positional arguments. So if I give 3 numbers, it will give me the proper output. You can also assign this output into a variable, and then you can print the result here, right? Or you can define one more function which says calculate average. You can again take, let's say, 3 numbers, and you can again say result equal to first. What is the formula for calculating average? You first add it, and again you can say result divided by 3. Why 3? Because we have 3 numbers. This is like taking the average of all the numbers, and then I can just say return result, right? Now if I say if I just say calculate average, and I give number, let's say 3, 5, and 7, then only what should be the answer? If I run this, what should be the answer?
Five should be the answer.
Yes, you're absolutely right. 5 should be the answer, because you are taking average. So similarly, you can create as many functions as you want. You can create whatever. So functions, creating functions, defining functions, and like playing around with functions, you can like do a lot of things. You can create a lot of things. So by this, you can create lot many functions which you can use it on daily purpose. For example, like all the Excel functions, like if people who have worked on Excel will know what does Excel function do. Like Excel function, there is there is length function, there is lot many if lookup function, match function, a lot of functions. You can do the exact same function in Python as well, but for that you need to know how to define the function and how to return a result from it. Okay, so the time is almost over, but we will do one programming logical program right now. Thing is, I want to find max number, let's say max number, and here I can not only provide, here I can inside for the input in the function, okay, I can provide anything. I can even provide list, tuple, dictionaries, or any object. Here in Python programming language, any data or any variable is referenced to an object. Even function is also an object. Okay, whatever you see in Python programming languages are objects. I will give you more information on ongoing class, what is the difference between an object and a class. But for now, you just have to understand that everything in Python programming language is objects. So here you are passing here numbers, integers, right? But you can also pass list as well. Okay, find max number. So what my idea is, so here is where my pass function comes into picture. If I just write, okay, I don't know the logic. Don't know the logic, will write afterwards. If I do something like this, Python will say indentation error. So since I don't know what logic I should write right now, I'll just say pass and it won't give me error. So pass is nothing but a placeholder. As I said, it is nothing but a placeholder. So what I have to give here, I have to give a list numbers list. Okay, so whenever I call find max number and inside I give a list, for example, let's say 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 1 or 2. Okay, I should get the output. What should be the output if I want to find the maximum number inside this list?
The maximum number is 9.
Sorry?
Maximum number is 9.
9. Yeah, exactly. The maximum number is 9. So I should get the output as 9. Now, can somebody tell me what should be the logic which I should write in here to find the maximum number inside this list? You can be wrong. You can be definitely wrong on like just apply plain logic, plain mathematical logic, nothing else. Like if you are given this list, then what you will do? How you will come across? For now, you know that, okay, the value of 9 is greater than everything else. That is why you are saying 9. But how does your internal brain work to understand that, okay, 9 is actually greater? How will you go doing that?
So comparing each number with the other one, like if 3 is greater than all the rest of the number, 5 is greater than the rest of the number.
Exactly. That's the answer which I wanted. That what you will do, or what does our brain does? It does nothing but it compares each and every number with other numbers and then finds the maximum number, right? As simple as that. So what we will do, we will compare 3 with 5. We will write a for loop in which we are comparing all the other numbers with each other. Okay, we will compare 3 with 5. Now, who's greater on 3 with 5? If I compare 3 and 5, 5. Yeah, so we will keep 5 as the current maximum number. We will create one more variable, which is like the temporary variable, which is, wait a minute. Yeah, okay. We will create a temporary variable saying as current max number. So we will update 5. Now on the next iteration, we will compare our current maximum number, which is 5, with 5. Now 5 and 5 both are same. So the current maximum number value remains the same, which is 5. Next, we will compare our current maximum number with 6. Now, what is greater, our current maximum number or 6? 6, right? So we will update then our current maximum number as 6, right? We will do the same. Compare 6 with 8. The current maximum number will convert to 8, update to 8, and then after updating to 8, it will then compare with 9, and it will know that okay, 9 is greater. So once it comes until 9, now the current maximum number is 9. After comparing with 1, what would be the answer? Will the current maximum number will change? It won't change, right? Because
1 is lesser.
1 is lesser than 9. So it won't change. So yeah, then again we will compare it with 2. Will it change? It won't change. Now, are there any other numbers for which we need to do the comparison for? No, we have came to the last of the list. So whatever now our current maximum number is, that is our final result, which is nothing but our maximum number in the list. This is what we are gonna implement here. So I will again define find max number here using the numbers list. Okay, I will create a variable current max number equal to, let's keep it at 0. Okay, I will keep it at 0. Now I will write a for loop for number in numbers list. If number is greater than current max number, right? If this number is greater than current max number, then my current max number gets updated with my current iteration, right? And that's it. Then what it will automatically see here, what I will do, I can even print comparing number to, okay, let me give you one more shortcut here as well. Comparing number and current max number. And here I will just, after it will automatically do the iteration, and it will just return current max number, and that's it. Now, if you run this, you will get the final answer as 9. So you will see the entire operation which this function has done to find the current max number. It compared 3 and 0. Wait, I can also write one more helpful function. Helpful print current max number has changed to number. See, comparing 3 and 0, current max number has changed to 3. Comparing 5 and 3, current number max has changed to 5. Comparing 6 and 5, this. Comparing 8 to 6, see, comparing 8 to 6, 8. Comparing 9 to 8, 9. But when it came to comparing 1 and 9, this condition wasn't satisfied. Hence, that current max number did not change, and it remained 9. And that is the final result which you have got. Any doubts on this? I know it might be little tricky, that even though you understood the logic how to do it, but to write it in a programmatical way, it will come only after practice. But I hope you understood the concept of how we did this. And just to like a fun thing in Python, you didn't even need to do all of this. Python already has something called as max function. Okay, so I could have said directly find max number of numbers list, return max of numbers list. And if I still did, it will still give me the same output. There is a already pre-built function, like you have length function, right? Length function, print function. You already have min and max function as well. But the idea was to make you guys understand how this max function internally works. Okay, so that is the reason, right? That is the reason this entire thing you can see the output. Any doubts? Any doubts, guys? Okay. Any doubts from anyone? I do understand if you don't understand this at the first go. So take your time and let me know if you guys have any doubts. Okay, wait. Can you guys try this out on your notebooks? And yeah, and now I will give you one problem statement as well, which you have to do it right away, which is using this same logic. Okay, using this same logic, you guys have to find me the minimum number. We have found the maximum number here, but you guys have to find the minimum number and write a function and paste the code on the chat section.
Mike, could you scroll up a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so hash, don't know the logic. This hash thing is returning me errors. Okay, fine. I think I know why. Got it.
Okay, that's great. So this is this program for a minimum number?
Yes.
Yeah, so always remember, guys, that whenever you are writing some program, always make sure that you always write it properly. Like here, it should be minimum number, and also current is fine. I mean, current variable is fine, and you can yeah, I mean, current still you can take a very larger number just in case. Yeah, so if I execute this, name error, max number not found, should be minimum number. Yeah, so see, everything remains the same except for the fact that the current max number here, like the current value will change. Also the sign, the signature here we are using for max number is greater than, here it will be reversed, it should be lesser than, and your entire program will change into finding the minimum number.
Shadir, I have one question.
Okay.
For number in numbers list, print F, then you have used double unit comma. I want to know, like, what is this F for?
So what typically happens, yeah, and I'm so thankful that you have asked this question. So what typically happens if you like write, let's say comparing, okay, comparing and plus 9, it will give you an error. Even here as well, if I print the exact same thing, okay. But how we used to do without F, if I just say comparing plus number plus and then adding this string, then plus. So since this number and this current max number are basically your integer type, and your comparing is your string type, if you run this function, you will get an error saying that can only concatenate string to string, not integer to string, right? So you can also do this here, like let's say by converting the number into string by using str function, str. If you remember, we basically use on the first or the second lecture to convert the integer into a string by using str function, which is short form of string. If I now run this, it will work. It will for sure work. But my problem is, let's suppose I have to now, let's say more than let's say 2 or 3 variables, and it becomes pretty hectic. So that is why instead of doing something like this, what I did is a shortcut. This is called string formatting. Okay. So here I have said F. Now this F basically means that I am formatting the string, and here I am giving the variable which needs to be printed in the curly braces. Okay. Now, even though it is an integer, this F for formatting string will automatically convert this integer into a string for me, and I don't have to explicitly call this string function. It will automatically work. It won't give me any error. Just have to call whatever variable you want to print here. That is the shortcut while like doing some exercise like this. I hope this makes sense. Yeah, any doubts, guys? So for this week's assignment, I have basically given you some exercises to be done, and everybody has to, again, please take these exercises seriously. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand, or you won't be able to practice it. The more you practice, the more you will learn. So I hope this exercise has come into your help while relearning all the concepts which we have learned during the class. Remember, this is as simple as learning something new while you were in school. Until and unless you practice, you won't get the hang of it. Okay. So basically, there are 5 questions inside this. The first question is that write a Python function to print sum of all numbers in a given input list. Similarly, how we have done here, I have taken a list as an input. You also have to take input as something like this and return the output. You have to return the output, whatever the addition of the list is. Okay. This is the first question. The second question is write a Python function which returns number of days of given name of the month. Okay, like suppose if I give February, it should give 28 or 29. If I give April, it should give 30. If I give January, it should give 31. So you can, just to give you a clue, you can write multiple if and elif conditions inside a function, and based on the function name, based on the month name, you can return that specific number which is associated with that specific month. Okay. So similarly, you have to write a Python program to create multiplication table of a given input number. So you have to basically get an input number from the user and then write the table, the entire table until 10. Like for example, 10, then 10 ones are whatever this is. For example, 6, then 6 ones are 6, 6 twos are 12, until 6 tens are 16. So you have to print this. So input a number 10, then you have to print this entire table. Okay, you have to write a program for this. Fourth is basically explain and implement the difference between below points, break and continue. What is the difference between break and continue, which is getting used in for or while loop? Then what is the difference between while loop and for loop? You also have to write a program to demonstrate the difference between them. Okay, so now there are 6 questions, and the 5th question is basically where you have to write a Python function which prints all numbers from 0 to 100 instead of multiples of given input number. For example, if I give input 5, you will see that the multiples of 5 are not present, but everything else is present, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is skipped, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is skipped, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 is skipped. So you have to, I have also given the clue of how to do it using the continue keyword. Okay. And the 6th question is given an input number, write a Python program to print the below pattern, which we have already done in the class, but this time you have to write a function for it. Yeah, also in the function, you have to take an input and you have to provide this output. Suppose if the output is 4, there will be 4 lines. If the output is, input is 6, there will be 6 lines. Any doubts on this? And everybody, has everybody done the minimum function? Why is it getting stuck? See, I will also show you how to write the minimum function as well. I will change the function name as minimum. A current minimum number. I can, let's say 10, 10, 10. There is 2, 5. Like let's take the largest number, whatever possible. Then current minimum number. Here also current minimum number. Current minimum number. This thing will get reversed. Current minimum number. And return current minimum number. So now if I do the exact same thing here, find minimum number, see, comparing 3000 and whatever it is, current, oh yeah, I have also current min number. Yeah. See, current min number has changed from 3, comparing these two, it has changed to 3. Current minimum has changed to 1. So there were only 2 updations to the current minimum number variable, and that is why you are getting the current minimum number as 1. Any doubts, guys? Okay. Yeah, so here it should be in. I think it was a indentation error, but let us be very sure about this. Yeah, it is working fine. It's just a indentation error, Faizan bhai. So actually your problem was that you had your print and current not properly aligned. Is it working now after changing it? Is it working right, Faizan bhai? Or is still have to?
No, not yet.
Okay, can you share your screen?
Visible?
Yeah, so as you could see here, right? So after the if condition, your current and your print doesn't have in R or I. Now can you run it? Yeah, now can you call the function? No, it's okay. I mean, if you run it now for calling the function, you just have to you just have to say find max number, find, and you can say press tab. Just press find, press tab, yeah, and in the round brackets you give a list, numbers list, yeah, which you have already defined in 33. Can you run it? The shortcut for running this is shift enter.
Shift enter.
Yeah, shift enter. Okay, can you go downside? You should be able to see 9.
Thank you.
9 is the answer, right? Any other doubt, guys? So if you are able to understand this much, then yeah, but remember, practice is all practice. The more you practice, the more you will understand. As we more progress, the logic which you have to write will become more complex. This is still very basic logic. The more we will advance, the more complex logic it will become. For coping up with that, you have to practice a lot. So the remaining 5 days in which we won't have any class, upcoming 5 days, I will highly request you to not just complete the assignment, but go through all of the code which we have done until now, and do it once more so that you get a hang of it. And the more errors you solve by yourself, so remember, for a programmer, Google and Stack Overflow are their best friends. Okay, there is a site which is called a Stack Overflow. In this site, no matter what error it comes, for example, if I get something, let's suppose something like this, I can just copy this and go to Google and paste this error. Then it will automatically explain me, not just explain me, like, see, what should I do with unexpected indent? Not only will it will explain me, but will also give me answers that, see, here, indentation error, it is almost identical that the error which I have done, basically the reason why I am getting the error, it is almost similar, right? Here also, this guy is not having the both of the print statements in one line. That is the reason he is getting indentation error. So the more you practice, the more you resolve errors by yourself, the more you will understand the programming language, and the more you will be able to do a lot. So I highly request you, each and everyone, to practice it before coming to the next class. Okay, and the next class, and by the way, it will start from 8 from now onwards, considering that in Mumbai, the namaz timing for Maghrib is like 7:45 approx. So yeah. So yeah, any doubts? If no, then we can wrap up the session. Okay, so I will I will upload this video on YouTube as well. If somebody wants to rewatch it or like understand it from beginning, then you can guys also go through these videos, and we'll send the updated link and also the assignment as well. This assignment which I was showing to you. Okay, so kindly do it. Again, requesting it once more. Kindly, please, do it. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining in, and yeah, happy learning. Take care. Bye.